G'day there folks, I'm Beanie, you're watching Beanie Draws, and in this video I am going to be drawing Charizard. Just before I start, for those of you who joined, or should I say followed Beanie Draws before I got into the whole Pokemon drawing thing, I will be doing more dinosaurs. They will be coming soon. I've got a Mosasaurus versus Megalodon, because I have had a few people ask for Megalodon in the past, which, well, a Megalodon versus Mosasaurus would be pretty cool. Got a cute Mosasaurus coming along. I will have to draw Indominus Rex versus Tyrannosaurus Rex. I've got a few other things coming along. But, yeah, Pokemon, for me anyway, are fairly easy. The cartoons, they don't require awful amount of detail. They don't have scales. They don't have all that, insane amount of detail. So, Pokemon are fairly easy to draw for me anyway. So, I figured it'd be easy to knock a few of them out, and then I'm going to get back to doing some more dinosaurs. But yeah, that out of the way, I am going to be drawing Charizard. And I've just been studying Charizard a little bit of, what makes him tick. He does look fairly complicated, but if you knock it down to the basic elements, he's not too complicated. A little bit, but not too complicated. What we'll do is we'll start off, and I will probably end up messing up all these proportions, but that's okay. That's what the whole point of pencil is. Pencil, by the way, I'm using the mechanical pencil. You can use a lead pencil, any kind of pencil you want, really, as long as you can erase the lines out. But I'm going to start off with an egg shape. The egg shape will be for the body. And might as well quickly just add in another egg shape in there, which will be for his tummy. Get that knocked out of the way to start off with. Then around here, I'm going to draw an oval. That will be for his leg. And then another oval here. We'll be refining these shapes, so don't worry too much about being particular. I'm going to put a little circle here. That was a messy circle. That will work as his foot. And then here we'll give it a sort of a diamond rectangle. That'll be for his other foot. What we'll do is have a square here, or a diamond there, have a diamond there, then we'll have a long rectangle about there, long rectangle about there, have a kind of a rectangle but chunkier coming out there, and maybe we'll put a circle here, put another, using this area, try and have it sort of balanced on this side, have a sort of a squarishy shape there, and a circle there. You can probably tell what's going on now. We've got the body going on here. Trying to make sure Charizard's quite a tall creature, so hopefully I can fit this into the screen. What we'll do is we'll put in the neck, a long tube there. I may have to move my page around a bit, so bear with me. Put a bit of a circle there. Yep, we're going to have to move things around. And we'll put in a bit of a cone there. So that's the snout, the head. And we might as well put in a little spiky squared thing back there. And then around here, I'm just going to put in a bit of a lump, which will connect to there. That will be the basic shape for his bottom of his tail. And then I'm just going to draw a few little flowy, weavy lines like that, which will be for his tip of his tail. And around there, this will probably be changed a bit, but I'm going to have a little bit of a line, just a loose line there. Then what we'll do is we'll put a line down there, line down there. So that will be for his wing folds. Just do a quick little rough little shape there for the bat wings. Just imagine it's kind of like Batman. So like a Batman logo kind of thing there. And then we will echo the same thing on this side. So line up there, line up there, get a bit of a Batman logo wing, like so, and then I'm just going to draw in a bit of a long flowy line like that, and that will be our basic bounding proportions. I'm just going to fix that up a little bit. Now Charizard's quite a big creature, so I've had to expand my view a little bit, but hopefully you can kind of see we've got the wings, got the body, got the legs, and got the arms. Next thing we're going to do is refine it all and try and make a bit of sense out of all this shaped chaos. So what we'll do is we'll draw in the body. So I'm just going to draw in, refine these egg-shaped lines. We'll draw in a curved line like that for the leg. Then around here, we'll draw another curved shape around there. So we're not fully going to, copy all the lines we've just done. We're just using them as a basic reference. Then around here, I'm going to draw in a line up to about there and give it a bit of a curve, and that gives you the leg. And then line there that kind of sharpens out down. Bit of a line down here. Bring it in. And then we've got 3 claws here. So draw 1 claw, another claw, give it a bit of a diamond kind of shape, and then this one is a bit of a curved line like so. So just give them the claws and then connect those lines together, and you have yourself a foot. I'm just going to tidy up some of my lines a little bit, because sometimes my proportions get a little bit off, but that's okay, you can just move around. Then I'm going to put in some little fold lines, like so. The cool thing about Charizard, or Charizard, however you want to pronounce it, is that it's got so many cool poses. So I'm actually thinking I might do a few different, might have to do 2 other videos on Charizard as well, because, or maybe 1. At least 1 to focus on his flying, because he looks pretty badass. But that aside, what we'll do now is we'll draw in the rest of his stomach. So we'll kind of use that egg shape as a basis for where his belly will go, like so. A nice rounded curved line. And then we will draw that, we'll refine that sort of curved egged semicircle oval shape, like so. And then around here, we'll draw a line like that, so they'll be echoing that line. And then using the shape of our sort of squared oval, so we'll draw a line here for the knee. And then around here, it's not ovaled or circular like it is there. It's kind of more angular here. So I'm going to bring out a more straight line and then bring that straight line down at a bit of an angle down to there. Now that we've got his knee done, we'll bring in the back of his foot like so and bring it down and out. Give him a bit of a squared heel like that. And following this, I don't even know if you can see that little squared shape we gave it, but what we'll do is we'll give him a fold line here. And then draw like kind of the top of that foot over this way. So this foot is facing us, this foot is away from us. So we'll draw the bottom of his foot, draw the top of his foot, and then what we'll do is we'll draw the claws and then draw the middle bits like around here. So draw one claw, another claw, and then another claw, like so. Hopefully that's in view. I think I might have actually made his claws a little bit too wide. I might bring them down a little bit, just to make it a little bit more pedantic. So I'll just refine these claws a little bit, like so. Might make this one a little bit smaller actually, this claw. A bit more like that. And then like that. And we don't really have to worry too much about drawing the middle of the toes there. So we've got that foot done. Next what we'll do is we'll draw the tail. So he's got a very big chunky tail. So what we'll do is we'll draw the top of his tail like so. I'm not going to draw it too far out, it's just going to kind of fold out like this. So I'm just going to draw a fold line there. It's got a very weighty, thick tail, very chunky, unlike Charmander and Charmeleon. Going to draw sort of a diamond-shaped, curvulous shape of his tail. And the reason why it looks like this is because the tail is folding in on itself. Imagining it, the tail was, cut in half, or it was glass and you can see through it. The middle part would be round like that. Slightly, diamond shape. To give you an idea, top view, here's his body. Top view, his tail would be looking like this, something like that. So that would be top view. Front view, because that tail is kind of folding in on itself, like so. We're kind of seeing that little midsection, but it's kind of facing that way, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to understand the idea of the folding in tail. I'll probably have to do a video at some point on the concept of three-dimensional tubes and tails, if I ever remember to do that. Anyway, we'll continue that tail line up there, and to draw the dividing line between the bottom and top of his tail, which will be the color line, the division, I guess you call it. So there's that part of the tail. We'll draw it around here as well. So just draw a line, a slightly curved line, slightly curved line, and slightly curved line. So 3 lines that taper in and get a little bit wider at the knee, and then just draw a line there because that's the tail folding in on itself a bit. And we'll leave the flame for last, but I'm just going to draw a little teardrop kind of shape there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to refine the shoulders. So the reason why we did diamond shapes is because the tops of its shoulder are very angular and pointy, very sharp and squared, so like that. And we'll draw in at the bottom of his arm like that, bring it along to the elbow. We'll draw a line here for the forearm, a sharp pointy elbow that comes in, and connect that into the shoulder, giving a bit of a slight curved line there. Going to give some fold lines there. And then what we'll do here is we're not going to do it straight parallel to that line. We're going to bring out this part of his forearm slightly, like that. So it's a little bit wider here than it is there. Going to give it a little bit of a fold line there. That's how you get the forearms. The hands are a little tricky. we've done a circle to kind of, give an idea of where the hand will be, but the hand is a little bit tricky. What we want to do, 3 shapes. So think of the wrist as a circle, and then we want to divide that circle into, we want to divide that sort of area into 3, and then we'll bring those 3 areas in as fingers. This one will be slightly clawed, so a slightly clawed finger. Bring that up to about there, and then here we're going to fold in this line so it's a bit of a bendy finger. The tip of the finger will be here, bent in, and then a fold line there. So it looks like the finger is folding in like so. So if you like looking at it from, I guess, from that angle, it's kind of, you see these fold lines, and you twist your finger in on itself as opposed to being out like that. Then we'll draw a claw here, a claw here, and a claw there. So it gives him a bit of a grasping look to his hand. His hand's going for a bit of a grasping look. And I'm just going to bring that line up to there. So far, so good. Next, what I want to do is bring this line up a little bit. So we've got a bit of a fold line for the chest. Then what we want to do is we want to use these points, like the elbow, the inner wrist, or the inner elbow, then wrist areas. We want to kind of have a bit of a symmetry going on there. So we'll curve the line out to that point in the elbow. Then around here, I'm going to do like what we did here, a bit of a curved bend line in there, and I'm going to bring that down to about that point. So that will be for the cutoff point for the wrist. And then we'll just connect from that kind of area and bring it in to the inner elbow. And then, like we did here, how those lines are a little bit wider compared to these lines. We've got the width of these lines. We'll make those lines a little bit wider out here, like so. And much the same like here. Good thing with this pose is there's a lot of symmetry going on. So, especially with the wings and the wings and the arms especially, there's a lot of symmetry going on, so it shouldn't be too complicated. So around here, like we did here, we're going to have some grasping fingers. Hopefully I'm not talking too loud and messing up my audio. Going to have some grasping fingers, like so. Using that sort of circle area as an idea of where the hand wrist sort of area will be. Dividing that into 3 sections and doing the folding in fingers like I taught you just before. So some folding in fingers, and then I'm just going to put in there's lots of fold lines as well. You'll probably notice it's what you do if you want to make your elbows and arms and fingers and things look like they're folding in on themselves. Just give them little bits of fold line, a very small line that just indicates little folds like that. So just do that there, and then finish that finger up like so, and then we'll draw in the claws again like so. So hopefully that wasn't too complicated, that hand area. I might do another video at some point just on the hands, but hopefully I explained that well enough with the the circles, dividing them into 3 sections, and then for 3 fingers, because Charizard has 3 fingers. Next, what we want to do is the neck. Yeah, the neck, but we'll have the sort of the shoulders going into their egg shape here, but then they sort of come up like that, slightly parallel but tapering in, kind of like around here, how you had these areas further apart than these areas. So it's not a huge taper, but they're not exactly the same width apart. Very slight. Hopefully that makes some sense. And then we got a little bit of a complicated pose for the head, because Charizard's facing up in a mighty, defiant pose. So what I think I'll do is, just to explain it a bit, I'm going to draw in the shape of his head in three-dimensional cubes and blocks. So I'll draw a sort of a rectangle box there. That will be for his snout. And you can kind of use that the circle ball orb shape there. His head kind of goes up like that, so it's not as completely rounded there. Around here, I'm going to draw in his eyebrow. So give it a bit of a sharp point up there. Well, not sharp, a flat top to his eyebrow. Bring that down to about there, and then we'll draw in that long curved horn. I think Charizard actually has two horns, but because of the angle that he's facing, you're only seeing one. The other horn would be like there behind his head, hidden by his head. So just leave it like that. Just some fold lines there. Don't have to worry too much about that. Because of his jaw, it's not an angled jaw. What we want to do is a little, like if you feel the bottom of your jaw, do that right now. Touch the bottom of your jaw. Can you feel how it's not the middle section of your jaw, where your mouth is? That's where your tongue would be. That's fleshy, and then on the outer sides of that is hard bone. What we're doing here is we're drawing a little line that indicates that hard bone, and inside there would be flesh. So we draw a little line here, and that indicates the bone of the jaw. And then we just draw a little connecting lines there, just to give a bit of a, his jaw moves, and as you move your jaw around, that bit of skin will fold and stretch and whatnot. So fold lines there. Then around here, I'm going to give him a bit of a chin. So drawing a little bit of a chin, like so. And then we will connect that chin and bring that line out to the jaw, like so. Hopefully that makes sense. We'll then draw in the nostrils. So I'm just going to use that little square shape that we used. I'm just going to dent it in like a little arrow. Then I'm going to draw in a line there. I'm going to echo this here. That would be for the tip of his mouth. So do like so. Then that will act as the front of his snout. And then we'll bring this line down like so. And then we'll give a bit of a pointy, very slight zigzag shape there, and that acts as the sort of the top of his jaw, like so. Then a tooth, if you can even see that, and then like so. And then around here, just going to draw a a flat line there. A curved line following the brow shape out to about there. Then connect that down for the eye. A line there. And that will be for his pupil. I'm just going to bring his eyebrow out a little bit further like that. And then I'm just going to draw a little slit there and a little slit there for the nostril. And I mean, these lines we're not going to worry too much about. We're just going to erase them so it doesn't make things too complicated. Hopefully that gives you the idea of Charizard's head. It can be quite complicated, but normally it looks like his neck's a little bit more, sort of a little bit thicker and slightly more curved. But I mean, you don't have to be too anal about it. Don't have to be overly particular. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use his head as a reference point for, what we'll do is we'll draw the horns or the claws. They're kind of very much like that, but on a small scale. So we'll draw these claw bumps for the top of his wings. So we'll do one on either side, I think, like so. Then we'll draw the wing bone things. I guess you can kind of call them fingers. Think of like a bat wing. If you have a bat wing without the skin on it, they look like very long fingers. That's more or less what we're doing with these wings. I'm pretty sure you know what a dragon or a bat wing looks like, but just to explain it a little bit easier, to make it a little bit easier to draw. And because they're actually fingers, well, this is one main finger, then they'll have a finger which we won't really see much, but just think of it as like a finger, so it's got little bendy bits. So you got, you know, that connector, and that connector. So you got that connector, which is there. There's a connector there, which would be for, like, you know, there, and then got a connector there, which would be like for there. So just draw those little lumps, which kind of indicate the connecting sections of the wing. Although depending on how you look at the wing shape of Charizard, that is possibly just the shape of his wing as opposed to being a finger. And also there's a few various ways of drawing the this part. It's very sort of bendy and zigzaggy. So just give it a bit of a bend. It's not curved, it's kind of angular. And we'll do the same for around there. So just going to draw a line. And around here, maybe give it a bit of a bend. A little bit of a very slight curved bend there. And bring it in like that. And then we're going to give him a bit of a lumpy bit there. Bring that line down, because that's going to act as a bit of an arm. And then bring that line around and curve it like so. And then another sort of a shoulder like that. So you can kind of imagine that, you know, what I'll do is I'll draw it here as well. A bit of a shoulder corner thing there. A bit of an arm shape there that connects up to that wing. And then I will draw in a line that more or less parallels with that. Comes down a little bit, so it looks kind of like an elbow. And bring it out like that. So you can kind of see how the wing is kind of like another arm, really. And we'll do that here. Like so. A bit of an elbowy shape there. Bring that down like so. And then here, it's going to be a folding, flappy section. So just going to draw a little bit of a flappy line there. A bit of a curved line. Then another sort of curved line there for another foldy line. Then we're just going to give those, and then we'll connect these parts here. It's a bit of an angled curved, really. So a bit of a curved bat wing shape there. Just refine this shape down here for a bit of a bat wing, like so. And then we will continue that shape here. So we'll do a bit of a finger shape there, like I was talking on that side. Because of the width of the page, also you might want a bit of arm movements to travel around with. So I'm just going to bring that line down like so. Bring it down like so, trying to visualize the whole plane area. So you've got a bit of a symmetry. You don't want it too far out. You don't want it like all the way out here, but you don't also want it too far in. You want it to be a nice bit of balance. So bring it out to about there, like so. And then I'll finish the curve of that finger like that. Bring it in. Bit of a curvy, pointy shape like so. And then I'm just going to finish it up like that. Then much the same here. You've got those foldy lines for the bat wing, dragon wing. Bat wings and dragon wings are more or less the same thing, really. Then here, I'm just going to draw in. I'm also going to make that bat wing look more like that. Going to have this bat wing come down with a point in between the body and the arm. And then here, we're going to have, much like that, kind of a pointy, rather than a curve, but a pointy sort of bat wing connector, and bring that down to the tip, like so. And then around here, we're going to have a bunch of fire. So, what we're going to have to do is like, kind of like, you know, along the shape of sort of like this. With fire, you don't have to be too particular. I mean, you can copy it bit by bit if you want from the original artwork, or just have your own kind of style. So I'm just going to have like little curly lines like so. So little curved. I'm sure you've all drawn fire. Fire isn't all that difficult to draw. Just think of it like, you know, little wiggly lines that connect out to points, and then, you know, some areas you just, you know, around here just have sort of wiggly, bumpy lines, because that's where the fire comes from. And then up around these areas, you'll have the sharp, pointy tips. And that's how you draw your fire. So just draw your little wiggly lines, some more little wiggly, shapy lines. Not putting too much pressure on your pen, otherwise you'll crack the lead like I just did. And then like so. I think what I'll do also is I'm going to do something similar in between there. This will be like, you know, an indication of where I'm going to separate the red from the yellow later on when I get to the coloring, which will actually be fairly soon. But other than that, that's more or less the drawing side of things done. I'm just going to fix up that a little bit, make it look a little bit more like a snout, like so. And other than the reflection of the light against the lead, hopefully you can see that fairly well. So the next stage will be me doing this in fineliner, and because it's going to be basically tracing, I'm just going to be time-lapsing this. Also, just realized I forgot there's a little fold line there connecting the neck to the body. But yeah, basically this next stage is just me tracing over the whole thing with a felt tip pen. I'm going to be using Bic pens, but I'm sure there's like Sharpie fine lines out there. Basically any kind of fine liner, felt tip marker, felt tip pen, whatever they call them. Use that, trace over it, and yeah, then we'll get to the coloring stage. Time for some time lapse. So that is the inking more or less done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to erase all of the pencil marks and just see if I need to tidy up a little bit after that, and then I will start and outline the colored pencil parts. I'm just going to go over a few little bits and pieces just to tidy it up. Now that ink work isn't too bad, but there are a few little areas, especially around here, where you can see I just went a little bit too thick. So I'm going to try and use some correction fluid and see if that if I can fix that up. Sometimes correction fluid can actually make things worse, so I'm going to try and just experiment on that wing, and hopefully it looks okay. So with correction fluid pens, it seems your best bet is to squeeze the bottle and then just see how you kind of have to squeeze the bottle and then press down so the ball of the nib kind of lets the ink or paint or whatever it's called comes out. Let's try to be very careful. Might be better off doing this with a brush, to be honest. Not too bad, not too horrible. And correction fluid is a bit of a pain in the butt to color over, so I'm not going to try too much to worry about the inner lines. It's more like kind of stuff like this. You can probably see the line's a bit scratchy there, which is one of the crappy things about correction paint. You're probably better off just kind of getting a pot of correction paint and then just using a brush and painting that correction fluid over your line work, to be honest. And now, naturally, because it's liquid paint stuff, I'm going to have to wait for it to dry before I do anything else with it. And because you can probably see a little bit there, it's got the ball of the flowing stuff, or whatever you call it. It gets very scratchy. So that seems dried now. Let's see how this draws over the top of that. Yeah, it's a little bit glossy, a little bit waxy. Not the biggest fan of it, but that'll have to do. Now, to color in Charizard, what we're basically going to use is orange for the body, yellow for these stomach and under the tail bits. Gonna maybe use a bit of this for the shading, but mostly we're just gonna have like darker. We could actually put a little tint of black over it to give it a little bit of darker cell shading. And from what it looks like, I'm going to be using this sort of greenish blue. It's a Faber-Castell number 357 if you're interested. For the wings for the most part, and then a slight bit of blue, which would be like what, a 343 Faber-Castell for a very light wash of the shadows, but you'll see what I mean. So I think what we'll do is we'll draw in the lines for where the shading will be divided. Because it's cell shading, we're just going to cut these pieces up. And I think I'll draw in the shadows for the wings now. So you should be able to see the lines I've drawn in for the shadows, and maybe in the orange bits. The orange bits probably won't show up as easily. Also a bit for the stomach area, like so. Then basically it's just going to be like a color by numbers. So I will do that now. I'll color in the stomach. I'll do the top part light and the bottom bit a bit darker, and you'll hopefully see what I mean. So there's the stomach done. I might put a little bit of blending in there later if I feel like it, but just that gives you the idea of cell shading. One shape will be darker than the other. Now I'm going to go on to the body. And now I'm going to try this orange as a darker shade just to see how that goes. Otherwise, if it's too red, which it looks like it, I'm going to go with this one and maybe put that red over the top of it. But I'm just going to see if I can make it any darker for the shading. And because it's not completely evident, I'm going to go very lightly with a bit of black. Even that might be too dark. Try it like that. Okay, so you can probably tell right there that that was a bit harder to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to erase some of the hard areas and then try and go over those areas with the black, because it seems that the harder you press, the more pressure you put on the pencil, you get a bit too much wax on the page, which makes it difficult for layering over things. And with this one, like when I did the light black first and then layered the orange over it, that was a lot easier. So do it like this: a very light wash of black first, and then you put your orange over the top. For this, I'm using the side of the pencil, so it's not as pointy and sharp. The only problem is it doesn't work as easily over these bits, so I'm just trying my best to put enough pressure on, but not too much. So while the light is reflecting off this quite a bit, hopefully you can kind of see what I mean about doing the black first and then the orange over the top works a bit easier. And then we'll do this part. And this part right here is why I don't like using correction tape or correction fluid. As you can see, it really messes with your pencils. Now I'm going to do the fire side of things. Then a bit of fire yellow. Going to blend it all together a little bit with a bit of orange. And then I think I'm going to go over the shadows a little bit just with a bit of blue. Mind you, blue over yellow makes sort of orangey colours, so I might be better off with more red shadow. So hopefully that satisfied your desires of Charizard. The next ones will be the X and Y Mega Evolutioned versions. They will take a little bit of a time to get done, I think. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Sorry about around this area where when I had my light like that, it kind of messed with things, but hopefully you kind of see what I was going for there, and hopefully you were able to follow along and draw a pretty cool Charizard. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. I've got more coming down the track. I've even got more dinosaurs coming as well. So if you like dinosaurs and you've only just followed me on YouTube, got a whole bunch of other videos you can check out as well. So be sure to have a look at all that. But until then, thanks for watching this video, and I will catch you in Charizard X and Charizard Y, I guess. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Cheerio for now.